Oh, and so, Susan, can you hear me?
I can. I
Oh,
can hear
good. And I
you.
can
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to give everyone a second to orient themselves and find us on the news feed. But
Ah,
everyone take a deep breath. I feel like I've been just like flowing from one thing to the other today, and it just feels
yeah,
great to have
yeah.
this moment to like stop and ground. And I'm so happy to have Susan here. I don't know how long I've known you, maybe for like 5 years or so,
Yeah,
or
at least, yeah.
yeah, but I just
Yeah.
feel such a heart connection to you. Susan used to live, her name's Susan Pierce Freeman. She used to live in the little tiny place in Colorado I do. So we kind of have some fun joint locations and conversations and people that are in the same circle. And what I really love about you, Susan, is I always feel like you have like obviously you're outwardly beautiful, but your inner beauty and your inner like wisdom and light always like shine through that. And that's what I just really love.
You. That's a
And
very
so
nice thing.
yes. And I love watching you talk about your family, and you're just interested in so many different topics. So we were just having that conversation. So many of us have that kind of funny relationship with the word coach.
Yeah.
And I know for you, you do all sorts of things around conscious relationship and aging gracefully and eating healthy and just lots of different areas. So I feel like today is going to be really juicy. And and in our little kind of pre-show conversation, you were just talking about how many of us are getting that nudge to show up in different ways. And this is, one of your first times doing the video and the camera thing. So I really appreciate you kind of coming out of not wanting to do the technology. And I know you had that moment of like, we could do this. So yeah, so thank you for showing up. Yeah, Rosemary's here. She says it's so nice to see you.
Hi,
And
Rosemary.
yeah, hi.
And I want
So
to thank you for asking me to join in. I think that
my
the
pleasure.
daily opportunities to ground have been a real
Mhm.
gift for the
Yeah,
entire community.
yeah.
It's really nice to know, you know, you get to take that breath.
Take a breath. Yeah, just
Yeah,
stop whatever you're
yeah,
doing for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying yes because I know for me, I've just been doing that intuitive. Like someone pops up on my radar and I ask them, and I think so far everyone but maybe one person has said, of course. So,
Yeah,
what do you got going for us
yeah.
today?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about our roles as coaches and
Hmm.
guides and healers, and
Hmm.
I just jotted down some thoughts.
Hmm.
It's maybe a little prayer-ish. It's kind of just a compilation of how I feel and what I wanted to share with people who do the work that we do.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm
So, would you love for everyone? I'm just wondering, like, how you'd like people to best receive it. Do you want
you
people to like kind
know,
of close eyes and get grounded, or are you going to just read what you
I
want to
would
say?
love
Tell
for
me.
everybody to just take a breath and just really ground and relax, if for no other reason than to take advantage of the opportunity to do so.
Hmm.
And if the reading gets in more deeply while you're in that place, then so be it.
All right, I'm going to close my eyes and just fully absorb what you have to say.
So nice exhalation. As coaches, guides, and healers, I believe we have a responsibility to remind ourselves, our clients, and the world to stay connected to the higher levels of conscious awareness arising during this time. We believe it is a time of great awakening, and our work is to be more awake than we have ever been. Awake as we witness what is possible. We see what is happening with the planet as we have stepped away and given her a chance to breathe and recover. Air is clearing. Fish are filling waterways that had been barren. Animals we rarely, if ever, see are parading down streets with their
Mm,
babies. It is beautiful to witness the ease with which this incredibly intricate and fully integrated organism flows toward homeostasis when she is not under constant assault. The earth has longed to restore her balance, and she is showing us her healing potential. We had only to step away for a bit to give her a break from our trespasses, and we are seeing what is possible. May we remember this. We see what is happening within our communities. People are stepping up, recognizing how vital each of us are to the well-being of the whole. Our acceptance of staying at home, our donning of masks and gloves, our singing and clapping and banging pots and pans to acknowledge those on the front lines, the immediate adoption of stay safe as our closing salutation. We are sharing a deeper concern about others. All of this being expressions of, we truly do know we are all in this together. We realize ultimately we are one, and it feels so much better when there is a sense of unification. It is beyond beautiful and deeply inspiring to be part of and to witness what is possible when communities decide to work together. May we remember this. And we see ourselves and how we have responded to the challenges around us. Many of us feel fear and then realize situations like this can trigger us into feeling a huge knotted ball of anxiety, a compilation of all our past traumas. We acknowledge only one of those strings is about right now. We pull it away from the mass and look at it from a more grounded and rational perspective. We consider how this one string, the present situation we are in, as we consider how to be with this one string, the present situation we are in as a collective. We exhale. This one string is much more manageable. We consider which responses, actions, and modes of being are indicated to get ourselves, our families, and our communities through this situation as safely as possible. We attain clarity. We know we will do our best. May we remember this. Many of us have softened into ourselves. We've softened into other. We're allowing ourselves to be held. We're allowing ourselves to find peace and safety within the arms of our beloveds, finding strength in our vulnerability. We have discovered our own resilience, and now we will guide others toward cultivating theirs. We fully recognize and own our power to lead. May we remember this. Many have ridden the continuum of feeling a bit of panic at the thought of not being able to leave our homes. And now many are finding themselves desiring to stay within this new structure that brings with it a certain quiet, a quiet we now know we have missed. For many, our souls are drinking in this gift of more contemplative time. We commit to honoring our soul's thirst and keeping it quenched, even when the distractions of life come pouring back in. May we remember this. What has been broken open for you to see and feel? I invite you to take this as a personal inquiry. May we remember this. Our greatest hope for this period is that it does prove to be a great awakening, a divine, universal awakening felt by every living being on the planet. And we, as part of the oneness of this magnificent organism, must be truly awake to notice all that is possible and all that is needed to guide us to the other side. We must acknowledge it is a human tendency to revert to what is familiar and we must do our best to continue to shine light on what is possible. May we remember to remember. And breathe it through yourselves.
Mm. What a beautiful, beautiful, clear message. I just felt waves of like goosebumps going through my body as I was hearing your words and just the power of your voice and your conviction. Yeah.
I feel like it's a really important, vital time for
Mm-hmm.
people like us to be fully awake of our responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
fully getting
Mm-hmm.
that more than ever, while people are taking this respite from the chaos, when there's more quiet time for the truth to really be seeping in, when they're having to really engage with their own ability to be self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much can come up, and as guides and coaches and healers, to help them to identify and to fully see this and to keep them aligned with it and cultivating these gifts.
Yeah.
That is our work right now. That's
Yeah.
what I believe is our work.
It's such a beautiful reminder because I know for myself, there's still that piece of like there's things to do and business to attend to, and then there's also this opportunity to navigate all these inner waves and the inner clearing and all the emotions coming up, and to
Mhm.
just watch like how much you're clinging to that same structure, that same schedule,
Mhm.
to have that
Mhm.
normalcy, or are
Mhm.
you really like saying, okay, let's exhale and let
Mhm.
go and
Mhm.
really be present with like whatever you're called to
Mhm.
do that day,
Mhm.
or to
Mhm.
live in a really different rhythm or a
Mhm.
different way. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know, everyone's kind of at different phases of how they're doing that and the
Mhm.
ways they're navigating it. And I feel like your call is just a beautiful invitation to remember beyond what we might be doing or saying, that there is that like deep responsibility first for ourselves and then how
Mhm.
we're showing up as leaders in our
Mhm.
community.
Absolutely, and to
Yeah.
remember all that we're witnessing right now,
Hmm.
because it will be the tendency for so many people to revert to what they're familiar with. It's
Right.
basic brain science. The brain
Sure.
wants to do what it knows best, and we will be under siege by
Hmm.
people trying to market to us, and the whole gaslighting concept of rushing back into what was. And we have to really remember what we're
Hmm.
learning during these times in order to stay connected to
Yep.
the gifts that we've been given right now.
Yeah, I feel like we have this precious little, time out where you can develop these new ways of being and
Yeah,
these new relationships with yourself, so that,
yeah.
for me, the first couple weeks, I was kind of like, okay, this is disruption. We're going to go back to something at some point. I was like, no, 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 no.
Mhm,
This
mhm,
is not like just do things differently now. It's a bigger
mhm.
question of like,
Yeah,
how do you want to carry yourself going forward beyond this? So what can you be doing now to really seed that and anchor it
absolutely,
so that it
absolutely.
continues well beyond this time? And I
Mhm,
I just loved when you were, again, I had just gotten off a call before I got on here, and someone said, was like channeling a poem. They said, awake, awake, awake. And like that's very similar to your message. It's just like that
mhm,
call to be really awake to
mhm,
what this time is about and what the
mhm.
opportunities are for you. So,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, and to journal and to really, create a practical ability to
Hmm.
remember,
Yep.
because we too, even though so many of us have done our work and,
Yep.
we are cultivating our consciousness and whatever, we're a part of that huge
Sure.
organism. So, good
I'm
luck to
laughing
all
because
of us.
I have my journal here. Oops, wherever here. And my husband like looked at it the other day. He's like, "You're going to be done with this before this time is over."
Yeah,
Normally, I might use a journal in like a year, and I
yeah,
was like, "No, right now, I just want to put everything down, whether it's kind of clearing old patterns or nurturing new things. It just feels important to have that
yeah. Yeah.
that record. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I would love to just echo Susan's question at the end, asking like, how do you want to feel during this time, and what are those kind of lessons or, um, little ways of being that you want to remember for yourself beyond just when we're in quarantine. So if there's something you
Yeah.
want to be able to go back and remember, if you want to put it in the comment box, if there's something you want us to kind of witness and celebrate with you. I know for myself, I'm just getting that message today of really, like really break the schedule I have.
Mhm.
And even though it's been much more fluid and flexible than it would have been a few weeks ago, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, there's still a whole other
Yeah.
level
Yeah.
to go and to drop in even more
Yeah.
deeply. So
Yeah.
I know that's
Absolutely.
mine. Do you
Yeah.
have something that's coming up for you that you want to articulate?
I have to say, really honestly, what's come up for me the most as far as even just the concept of what's broken open for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I think the depth of connection with my
Uh-huh.
husband
Oh,
and
beautiful.
realizing that there was like this string of it wasn't as I wasn't giving as wholly, and I
Uh-huh.
talk all the time about beginner's mind,
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of beginner's mind in relationships, not only with ourselves, but with everyone we're in relationship with,
Yep.
and I realized that I had been kind of not being as expansive with him, so to
Uh-huh.
say. And it was great to catch that and to redirect and to soften, because I
Oh,
think we tend to do that in relationships
sure.
sometimes with our partners, like, you kinda
Yeah.
get that edge, and I
Yeah.
wasn't letting go of an edge. And
Uh-huh.
so I softened that, and it makes everything so much richer,
Right.
and that is a habit, a new, like the awareness and the reminder every day that, yes, this was so significant and it feels so much better and it is in service to so much.
Yeah.
And remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I've been feeling so grateful. My husband and I, like all relationships, have gone through our, synced up times and our like gnarly little times, and we've
Mhm.
been in that more like synced up space. And I'm like, oh, thank God! I can't imagine going through quarantine, when it
Yeah.
was whatever a couple years
Yeah.
ago when
Yeah.
we could hardly have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do notice that like a deeper appreciation because he's one of those protector kind of guys. So
Mhm.
just having
Mhm.
that space of like, oh, like there's a value
Mhm.
to having that
Mhm.
protector energy, which for me,
Mhm.
who I veer towards that more love, light, expansive energy,
Mhm.
uh, I'm like, okay, I see the
Yeah.
value of that. And I want
Yeah.
to acknowledge that that's
Yeah.
something that allows me to relax into
Yeah.
being who
Yeah.
I am and
Yeah.
showing up in a very pure way. Because
Yeah.
he's got the grounded, like we got the compound all taken care of and,
Yeah.
everything's good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, we
yeah. No,
gotta,
it's a total gift. It's a total gift. And then also I have a lot of my clients right now doing, real hugging practices because,
mm,
the fear piece that I mentioned, that has really been up for so many
yeah.
people. And to really be reminded that it is so often a compilation of so much of our historic
Hmm.
trauma is triggered coming into one place, and
Right.
that when you get that and you just say, "You know what? There are like 1,000 strings in this little knotted
Mhm.
ball, and there's only one of those that actually applies to this
Right.
moment. It's the only one I need to be with." And to have that person to sink into, in a hugging practice or whatever, to soften residual fear, because in our heads we can look that it's one string, and then somatically to soften into that feeling of just safety and expansion, then that allows our strength to come up even more as we
Yeah.
go out to help others.
Yeah.
It's all so good, and we could talk about this forever, but
We
I
could
just
we could
yeah,
chat forever
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see
yeah, 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 yeah.
you
But
saying my husband and I have been hugging more too. I noticed my husband and I have been doing that more too. So
yeah,
yes. So
yeah,
yes to the masculine also showing up in this time. Yes to
yeah.
all of us healers and coaches and feminine energies just really showing up in new ways, and yes to just remembering and saying yes to what's truly important for each one of us. So thank you so much for your words
Thank
and your gift
you,
today,
thank
and
you.
so good.
I'll see you soon. I'll see you probably on that April 20th call, because everybody and their brother has to bring their work online right now.
That's right. We're all bringing it online. Yeah. So Susan's talking about a class that Sherry Rosenthal and I are doing through Wonderlust Entrepreneur, and we're doing a how to bring your online offerings now. And I'll just say one little piece about this because I'm really struck. Like so many of us who are healers and coaches, I think for so long we wanted to do things that were kind of long-term goals, right?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
want to get my brand done, or I want to
yeah.
create this big new program. And now people are having to be more immediate. Like, what do you need to do now? How can you
Mhm,
just share your message now,
mhm,
get out there now, and not so much some like nice pipe dream that's,
mhm,
a couple
mhm.
lifetimes from now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
yeah,
excited
and that time pressure is a gift.
to,
It doesn't
totally.
give you a chance to go into monkey mind around any of it.
Right,
Just
right.
get it in and step in because we are needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so
So,
much.
I love you. Thank
I
you
love you. I
so
love you.
much. I'll
All
see you
right.
soon.
Thank you to everyone who came on today.
Bye.
Bye.